Well, hello everyone. My name is Kimberly Ann O'Connor. I am a certified consulting hypnotist and I have been since 2012. And today during this video, I am going to share all of the important static, unchanging information that's really important to understand prior to experiencing trance. Now, if you are a returning client wanting to brush up on your hypnotic knowledge, a gargantuan welcome back to you. And if you are completely new to hypnosis, a huge welcome to you as well. Hypnosis is safe, it is powerful, it is a part of the fabric of humanity. Since the dawn of language, trance has been used to create powerful, predictable, positive change. There are scribings in temples in ancient Egypt and Greece that seem to allude to group hypnosis sessions. Trance was discussed in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. It is nothing new, and we will be using powerful techniques that have been used for hundreds and hundreds of years by hundreds and hundreds of hypnotists for countless people. Now, I will be using three terms interchangeably: hypnosis, trance, the theta state. All three of those terms are synonyms for the same thing. They are synonyms for the conversation with the unconscious mind that hypnosis provides. We are able, through the power of induction and suggestion, to speak to the unconscious mind and bring your conscious desires and your unconscious truths into communion, into relationship. Now, it is very important to first speak to the seemingly limitless applications of hypnosis. You're probably well aware of many of the usual common applications for trance: smoking cessation, weight release, dissolving phobias. But really, if you can state a desire in a sentence, hypnosis can help. One of the questions that I receive most often is regarding candidacy. Can I be hypnotized? Is a question I hear all the time, and my answer always remains the same. Yes, hypnosis is your birthright. Everyone can be hypnotized. Everyone can receive benefit from hypnosis. However, the stronger the mind, the more potent the response and result with hypnosis. So it can be counterintuitive, but the more analytical, critical, even skeptical, active the mind is, the better. The more conscious thoughts and energy that move through you, the better. So you do not have to be concerned about the additional question that I receive, typically second to candidacy, about calming the mind, quieting the mind. The stronger the mind, the better the result. Trance is a part of all of our day-to-day lives. I like to speak to three golden roads to reaching a hypnotic state, the theta state. The first golden road that I like to speak to is daily trance. Whether you're aware of it or not, you are moving through states of trance all the time. It is a part of our humanistic makeup. So anytime that you are not using your critical or conscious faculties, you're moving through a light, medium, sometimes deep theta state. Laughter, thinking about the future, thinking about the past, walking into a room and all of a sudden having no idea why you walked into the room in the first place, driving somewhere, getting there and thinking, well, I'm here, but I have absolutely no recollection of the drive. That is highway hypnosis. They say that you can spend upwards of 90% of a day in a trance state if you're not needing to use your critical or conscious faculties, thereby not needing to learn something new or deduce or figure something out. So brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, we are moving through trance all the time. The second golden road is something that is more sensitive to discuss, but we have all been shaped by this access point to hypnosis. Trauma induces a state of trance. So when we are activating the sympathetic nervous system to an intense and high degree, when we are extremely frightened, upset, angry, confused, lost, traumatized, the unconscious mind moves forward and creates powerful truth. Now, the unconscious mind is said to be 30,000 times as powerful as your conscious mind. I don't know how I feel about that quantification, but the bottom line is this: whatever truths the unconscious mind holds will win. Willpower can work for a certain period of time, but your unconscious is the boss. It's running the show. It is at the helm of your experience of life. The unconscious mind is also benevolent. It is designed for your survival. And there appears to be a slight flaw in how our unconscious, also known as the subconscious or the superconscious, relates to the world. When you are experiencing trauma, the unconscious mind will come forth and develop truths designed to keep you safe. And when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, your unconscious mind relates to that as a life or death situation, like you are being chased by a lion over the desert. And so you can be in class. This is an example that I like to use. You're in class, it's grade 1, you put up your hand to answer a question, the teacher calls on you. First, you give the wrong answer, the whole class laughs at you, and in that moment of intensity where you are embarrassed, you are filled with shame, you are filled with some fear, and your sympathetic nervous system is responding, your unconscious mind will come forward and say, you will never put up your hand first again. It is not safe. It is life or death that you do not do this ever again. And you can be in your 40s, 50s, 60s. You may never realize that since that point, you never raised your hand again first. It is not something that the unconscious mind does not permit. And so what we can do through the power of hypnosis is update these truths that may have been formed in youth, may have been formed later in life, but they can be limiting beliefs that hold you back. And we've all been shaped by trauma and the relationship between trauma and hypnosis. The third golden road to the state of trance, to the state of hypnosis, to the theta state is through what we are doing. Hetero-Hypnosis, other hypnosis. It is the most powerful, potent way to use trance. It is also the most relaxing and enjoyable and benevolent. We can use the power of induction to bring us to the power of trance, to bring us to the power of truth and suggestion, and create incredible changes. So how are you hypnotized? Well, hetero-hypnosis, other hypnosis, requires only 3 things for powerful, predictable, positive change: desire, trust, and relaxation. To speak first to desire, and I could talk about this for days. Ultimately, you need to want what you want. Seems pretty straightforward. However, there are many myths that have surrounded and veiled hypnosis throughout the years. There's been an ebb and a flow in popularity with hypnosis, again, historically, largely due to some concerns with stage hypnosis. Now, I love a good stage hypnosis show. However, it does give the illusion that people are doing things against their will, and they are not. Consent and agreement are required across the board with hypnosis. Even those who are up on stage doing wild, outlandish things, even those who are up on stage and then do not remember the experience, because trance is a real state, they were still in agreement with the hypnotist, and the stage hypnotists were looking for signs of agreement through the entirety of the show. It's also why typically there will be something like 20, 15 volunteers that are brought up on the stage to begin with, but you'll notice that people are asked to leave gracefully, respectfully, with honor as the show progresses, because if they no longer are having fun, if they no longer feel safe, if they're no longer in agreement and desirous of these outcomes, people will come out of trance. You need to want what you want. It's why I will have you contact me for our next communication and conversation one-on-one. It's one of the barometers that I have to know that you are motivated, incentivized, you want something. You cannot be pressurized by people around you, people that love you. It needs to be from the core of your own volition that you make the decision to move into hypnosis for a result, an outcome, a behavioral change. So that is desire. You need to want what you want. Number 2, trust. At this point, you don't know me. There's a lot of information to go through. I wouldn't expect you to be at a place where you instinctively, intuitively, feel connected and clear and in the driver's seat about this experience. But by the end of our next communication together, I expect that you will be. I want you to feel crystal clear about the process and like you are, again, at the helm of this experience. It is so important that all of your questions are answered. All of your communication is given. I beseech you to honor your own experience. If there are questions, you need to have them answered. Otherwise, your critical and conscious faculties will hold you back a little bit or a lot of bit from the experience of trance. So please, any questions, you need to feel completely informed. And by the end of our next communication point, our one-on-one communication point, you need to feel eager and excited and completely informed. That is number 2, trust. It is a requirement for this process. Number 3, relaxation. Now, you do not need to be a puddle of relaxation on the ground to enjoy and experience the profound benefit of hypnosis. Hypnosis can be achieved with people's eyes open during a conversation if that's what they consent to, if that's the way they feel most comfortable. But in a traditional, typical setup, what I would ask for you to do is find a sacred, private place to experience hypnosis where you will be unbothered through the duration of the session. I ask that you lay with your head and your neck supported so that you are laying but you're not completely supine. I want you to do a scan before you move into hypnosis. Make sure you're not hungry, you're not thirsty, your clothes are comfortable, you don't need to go to the washroom. And then all I ask of you is that you listen to the sound of my voice and focus on making any adjustments that you need to make at any time to be as comfortable as possible. Trance is not fragile. You will naturally move lighter and deeper through this experience. Conscious thoughts are normal and natural. If you need to sneeze, swallow, scratch, adjust in any way to be more comfortable, I encourage you to do so. Anything you can do to be more comfortable serves your process, serves your experience of trance. Now, I want to make a note that I've been doing this for many, many years. In the beginning of my practice, I had a paradigm in my mind of being in the same room as the hypnotizee, as my client. And I would hover over them and say all of the words and give the powerful, potent, positive suggestion. And that worked beautifully. At a certain point, I adopted our senior family dog, Lilo. Lilo would bark like we were all about to be massacred when a dust bunny would roll by. And so it became quite volatile. And I needed to start being creative due to necessity. And that is where, about 5+ years ago, the distance protocol for me was instilled, where I would have my communication, typically over the phone, and then I would create a professional, clear, high quality hypnosis session via recording. Every breath, every word, every phrase, every truth that I would give to you if I were in the same room via recording. And then I would give best practice and best protocols like I'm giving to you. And I would ask people to go into hypnosis in the privacy of their own experience. At first, I found that this was parallel. Results were great. People were having an amazing time and getting amazing results. As time went on, I realized that the results are even better distanced. And the reason for this that I can glean is that we are animals. Even when you know me, even when you trust me, even when you have heard from people that you love and care about that they've gotten remarkable results with me and with hypnosis, you will hold that much more consciousness if someone is in the room watching you as you move through a very special, very intimate state, the state of trance. So when you are able to be alone, you can let go of that awareness that someone is watching you and go that much deeper into your own experience. So now, unless there are extenuating circumstances, I insist on distance protocol. What does trance feel like? Well, trance is a very beautiful experience, and you will know that you are in trance. I'd like to speak to two things before I go into the barometers, the flag posts, the milestones, the expression and experience of hypnosis. First thing I want to mention is hypnosis is an art that gets richer with practice. The more that you experience trance, the deeper you will allow yourself consciously and unconsciously to go. Now, that's not saying that you won't go deep the first time. You will. I expect a deep, profound experience right out of the gate, but it just gets deeper and richer. It is also an experience that is different for each person each time. So there will never be two trance sessions that are exactly parallel. And that's one of the mysteries and the magical elements that I love about the Theta state. You will experience some or all of the following sensations: lightness, heaviness, numbness, tingling, disassociation where you feel out of body or you feel like your arms are where your legs are. For me, a hallmark of trance is that my hands feel huge. It feels like I'm wearing boxing gloves. Time distortion where it feels like it was 5 minutes, or it feels like it was 2 hours when it was 45 minutes. Amnesia is very common where you forget some or all of what I've said to you. You don't need to remember. Don't worry about that if you have an experience of amnesia during the session itself. Visions, colors, temperature changes where you feel cool or you feel warm inexplicably. There are a vast plethora of sensations, and they will all feel good. They will all feel comfortable. They will all feel natural, but they will feel special. You will know that you are in a trance state. Now, because this is a birthright, because this is a part of a fabric of humanity, this will not feel frightening or uncomfortable. You won't feel like Ziggy Stardust flying through the cosmos on a bad trip. It will feel serving and affirming, and I'm excited for you to experience the sensation and the pleasure of trance. We know that hypnosis works. We know clinically, medically, experientially, anecdotally, personally, hypnosis makes incredible, seamless, powerful, profound changes. The synaptic firings, pre, parallel, and post-trance session change in your mind. There is no gestation period required. This is a absorption, a retention, an experience that when you open your eyes after the trance session will be available to you immediately. Now, we know that hypnosis works, but nobody knows why. There are so many theories in the hypnotic community, but as of yet, they are only that. They are only theories. Some people believe that hypnosis works so well because of an authoritative stance, that the hypnotist is doing something to the hypnotizee. Some people believe that it's permissive, that through the power and strength of the hypnotizee's own mind, they are doing everything and the hypnotist is simply a guide. Some people believe it is an alchemy of both, authoritative and permissive. Some people think it is spiritual. Some people think it is the collective unconscious. The bottom line is, we know hypnosis works, but we do not know why, and we have to just be okay with that. It's one of those profound and beautiful mysteries, like electricity. We get to experience the benefit, but we can't be exactly sure what was the generative force behind it. So you lay back, you relax, you listen to the sound of my voice, you focus on making any adjustments that you need to make to be as comfortable as possible. You experience the sensations of trance, the varied, beautiful sensations of trance. You absorb the truths and suggestions that we have created. You emerge from trance feeling wonderful, refreshed, fully alert in every way. In fact, they say that for every 15 minutes in trance, it's equivalent to 4 hours REM sleep. It is inherently rejuvenating, and immediately you will start to experience freedom and power where there used to be struggle. So how many sessions will you need before you see amazing results with hypnosis? The answer is twofold. First, hypnosis sessions need to be very linear because the unconscious mind is linear. I can't speak to a plethora of different concerns and hodgepodge different outcomes and results. I need to stay very direct and clear. So if you have multiple concerns and behaviors and limiting beliefs, we will need to address and tailor each session to each linear process and concern and limiting belief. However, one session will be the answer in terms of seeing direct, linear, positive, profound change. One session will show you joy and power and freedom where there used to be struggle. I like to say that the beginning of our journey together actually is the first time that you go into trance. That is when we start to really experience the magic. And our follow-ups will ensure that all of the barometers for change that we determine together that show us that the hypnosis session has provided you with every outcome that you were expecting, desiring, intending, we start that communication immediately. The first follow-up is on you. I ask that when you experience your trance session and you emerge, that you contact me via text, email, phone, whatever's most accessible and comfortable for you. Please let me know what you felt, how you feel afterwards, that you feel great, fully alert, excited, positive, happy, joyful, and that you don't have any questions after the experience of hypnosis. Then the follow-ups are on me. I touch base with you 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, and after about a year, between a year and 2 years after the session, to make sure that you're delighted, that all of our barometers have been reached and in most cases exceeded. Now, if I were to follow up with you down the line and you were to say to me, yes, I'm still happy, I feel great, I've noticed a beautiful result, except I'm struggling with this area or this behavior or this craving or this trigger. My first question to you would be, have you recently experienced trauma or have you been under long-term acute stress? And my expectation would be, if you notice any regression in your results, that you would say yes. In that case, I would suggest that you go back to the original session that we created and go back into hypnosis, revivify those truths, because regression can be experienced with the unconscious mind if you are re-traumatized. There can be a regression back to previous self-soothing behaviors, limiting beliefs. And so in that case, keep your session. It's another reason why I love doing recordings. It is so amazing to be able to revivify the experience or just go into hypnosis because it feels so wonderful and it's so inherently rejuvenating. So you lay back, you relax, you make any adjustments you need to make as you move through this beautiful experience of trance. You powerfully, unconsciously, and superconsciously absorb these truths and suggestions that we have sculpted together. You emerge from trance, you feel wonderful, fully alert, joyful, and powerful in areas which you used to struggle. Hypnosis is counterintuitive, because it actually gets more powerful over time. It gets stronger over time. It gets richer over time. And we use 2 tools to really facilitate that. The first is a mantra, and the second is a trigger. Your mantra is a phrase, typically in the structure of I am blank, blank, and blank. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I am healthy, powerful, and strong. I am peaceful, present, and focused. It is a distillation of your trance session in a phrase, and I ask that you write your mantra on 3 cards, the back of 3 business cards. Some people get very creative and create art or the screensaver of their phone, but I ask that you put your mantra in 3 places that you'll see it: your bed, your desk, your bathroom mirror, and you will repeat your mantra 10 times before falling asleep for 7 nights post-induction session, post-trance session. Your mantra is a friend and a tool and an ally for life. Immediately when repeating your mantra, you will feel peaceful and present, grounded, plus the distillation of all that we create during your trance session. Now your trigger. Your trigger is an action. I used to create fancy, complicated triggers like bringing your tongue to the roof of your mouth or any time that you see the color green. But now I typically use idiomotor responses for triggers. Bringing your middle finger and thumb together, your index finger and thumb together. Your trigger is used when your mantra cannot be. So if you are giving a speech, if you are having a conversation, if you are doing something that does not allow for you to repeat your mantra internally, either out loud or silently, then I ask that you use your trigger. Your trigger will provide the same benefits. It will have you feel grounded, peaceful, and present. It'll be a distillation of your trance session in an action, in a point of contact. It is also amazing because mantras can dissolve any cravings, inclinations, behaviors that do not serve you. It will dissolve the impetus for those things, and that is a very powerful tool in and of itself. So how do you actually receive your hypnosis session and thereby experience the beauty and power of trance? Well, after we make contact next, one-on-one, and get very clear about what we are creating, how we are creating it, how we will bring you on a linear, positive, powerful, progressive journey to the vision of the future that you hold dearest, I then will get a resounding, enthusiastic, eager yes from you at the end of the conversation, saying that you are ready for hypnosis, you are excited, you are completely informed, all of your questions have been answered. Once I receive that yes, I will send you 2 documents. And once I have your consent form signed and your investment sent to me, I then request 24 to 48 hours to create your session. Now, I am a perfectionist with these sessions. It is profoundly important to me that these sessions are perfect. Every phrase, every breath, every word delivered with power and passion and repetition. So I request 24 to 48 hours, but typically once I have your consent and your investment, it will only be a few hours before I will send you a link whereby you can listen to your session from that link, but please download it and keep it safe. It is so amazingly beneficial to have your trance session for down the line, God forbid you experience a trauma or acute stress, and also for the general benefit of experiencing the vitality and refreshment of trance. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. It is a profound honor and privilege to educate you about hypnosis and to eventually guide you into the trance state and into powerful positive change. Now remember, I ask that you make contact with me for our next one-on-one communication. I ask that you bring any questions, concerns, communications that you have at this point into our next communication together. Hypnosis is my passion, it is my purpose, it is my mission to share the power of trance with as many people globally as humanly possible during this lifetime. And so I thank you for helping me make my own dreams come true, and I look forward to helping you make yours come true. I'll talk to you very soon. I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.